Coming up, a wave of home burglaries across the city of Fargo, how police believe the homes were targeted. A lawsuit is filed against UND over the school dropping its women's hockey program. And why an area fire department is facing a $20,000 fine. Hello and welcome to the Nightly Review. I'm Tom Tucker. We begin with a look at tonight's headlines, then a closer look with details tonight on a major change coming for the West Fargo School Board. And in my one-on-one conversation tonight, we'll hear from the Fargo resident who will help oversee millions of dollars worth of new construction for parks in the city of Fargo. But first tonight, Fargo police are investigating 9 home burglaries over the past 6 months, including 2 in the past 2 weeks. The homes are in the neighborhoods of Centennial, Rose Creek, Stonebridge, and Timberline, and police believe the homes were targeted. Chief Dave Zabolski says electricity was often cut at the homes to disable security alarms. Almost all homes were entered through windows. During the winter, the burglars targeted homes with unplowed driveways or with little activity. Investigators are trying to determine the cause of what they're calling a suspicious fire this morning at a church near Harwood. Fire crews were called just after 8 o'clock to the Maple Cheyenne Lutheran Church. The fire was reported by a passerby who noticed smoke coming out of the windows. No injuries are reported. Personnel from several agencies responded to the church, including the Bureau of Criminal Investigation and investigators from the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives. Federal hate crime charges should be filed in an alleged arson at the East Grand Forks Islamic Center. That's the claim from the Minnesota chapter of the Council on American Islamic Relations. The group's state executive director is calling for an FBI probe into the incident. Investigators say 57-year-old Suzette Thompson allegedly set fire to curtains at the center on June 5th. She has been charged with 2 counts of first-degree arson. A Fargo man is accused of possessing child pornography. Brock Ashland Feifel was charged today in Cass County Court on 5 counts of possession of certain material prohibited. Court records show a warrant is out for his arrest. Records also show Feifel had nearly 100 photos or videos of child porn in his possession. According to court documents, the images and videos show children being sexually assaulted by adults. 4 North Dakota women have filed a lawsuit against the state university system this week, alleging the University of North Dakota violated their civil rights by eliminating the women's ice hockey program. The women are recent high school graduates and assert cutting women's hockey in 2017 denied them an opportunity to attend and play sports at UND. So far, there is no comment on the lawsuit from the university. Meanwhile, a former running back for UND's football team won't be playing for Missouri State. The university has rescinded its offer to Otis Way, who also played at Moorhead High School. Missouri State made the move after learning of a sexual assault investigation against Way. The Springfield News Leader reported Thursday that Way was investigated for sexual assault at UND and banned from the university for 5 years. North Dakota's Attorney General is fining the West Fargo Rural Fire Department for violations of state gaming laws and administrative rules. Attorney General Drew Wrigley says the gambling directly benefited the owner of Bar 9 and Border Town Bar and Grill. The department was fined $20,000 with $5,000 suspended for 5 years. Gambling at the 2 sites was also suspended for a 1-year period. Well, the heat will be on this weekend in the FM Metro, and that brings potential concerns for people who work outside.
OSHA has made an emphasis for this summer for heat stress for workers that are working outdoors. Continues to be a growing problem across the U.S. So we're really encouraging employers that have any employees that work outdoors to make sure that they're properly hydrated, that they have access to water, that they take breaks, that they have proper covering.
Don Mosman is the director and trainer for the North Dakota Safety Council. He told WDAY's Bonnie and Friends the timing of the heat wave coincides with the June observance of North Dakota Safety Month. You can find more information on workplace safety by checking out the story online at WDAYradionow.com. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz says negotiations over a special session have broken down. Walz says leaders have reached an impasse despite billions of dollars in surplus money being left on the table. The governor has been meeting with top legislative leaders ever since the regular session ended in May, trying to finalize a deal to put billions of dollars toward tax cuts and new spending over the next 3 years. And South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem and her Democratic challenger are reacting to a Planned Parenthood office that is temporarily stopping abortions in South Dakota. The decision was made ahead of an anticipated U.S. Supreme Court ruling that could overturn Roe v. Wade. Noem tweeted in support of the decision, saying efforts to care for mothers in crisis must continue. Democratic nominee for governor Jamie Smith says the state should look at all stages of life in order to be pro-life, including funding for adoption, foster care, and child care. In a closer look tonight, the president of the West Fargo School Board says he'll resign next month.
Next month in July, I'll step down because going to the state legislature, I won't be, it'll start in January and go to April. The meetings, I'll be zooming in using Zoom to attend the meetings, or if it's really, really important, I'll drive back from Bismarck, and it's not right for me to be president of the board and not be there for so many things.
Jim Jonas is stepping down as president of the school board, but will continue to serve as a regular member. He's making the move after being elected to serve as a state representative for West Fargo District 13. Jonas says he's looking forward to serving in Bismarck and is now preparing for his new role.
Austin Schauer and I met with some senior citizens about 2 weeks ago to hear their concerns. And then I've informally met with Sheriff Jesse Johnner and Fire Chief Dan Fuller and Chief Otterness from West Fargo, because one of the top priorities is public safety.
Jonas is also on the West Fargo Educational Foundation Board of Directors. He says that group is now working on a capital improvement campaign which aims to raise $2.5 million for West Fargo educators and students. Well, if you find the Nightly Review is a better source for news and information for all that is happening in the FM Metro, please be sure to subscribe and hit the bell button below to make sure you're always up to date. And if you're looking ahead to the weekend, you might want to plan some indoor activities or maybe spend your time at the lake because scorching temperatures are on the way. Meteorologist Justin Storm has the hot forecast from the Skywatch Weather Center.
Thanks, Tom. As we head through this evening into the overnight hours, mostly clear conditions will continue and temperatures will drop into the mid-60s with light wind, but the wind will start to pick up overnight, gusting up to 20, and we'll see a increase in cloud layer into early Saturday morning, which will bring in a slight chance for a few isolated thunder showers. Skies clear back out for Saturday afternoon, partly cloudy, humid, highs near 90, with a south-southeast wind around 20 to 40 miles per hour, so lakes will be a bit on the choppy side. Into Saturday night, lows mid-70s will warm back up close to 100 on Sunday, partly cloudy with south wind 15 to 30 miles per hour with humid conditions. A heat watch is in effect for your Sunday afternoon.
It could happen to you or someone you love. One moment, one diagnosis can change everything. Thankfully, there's a program that helps caring people uplift families through a crisis. Lend a Hand Up, raising financial help and hope through community benefits and online campaigns. A program that boosts generosity so gifts go further. Lend a Hand Up helps you help your neighbors. Learn more and give at lendahandup.org.
Welcome back to the Nightly Review. My guest for tonight's one-on-one conversation is the newly elected member of the Fargo Park Board, Aaron Hill. Hill is a political newcomer and entrepreneur. He's the co-owner of the Fargo Brewing Company. Here, Hill talks about his personal history with the Park District and the work that is now ahead of him.
It's time to get to work is kind of the thought. Yesterday I was planning to go pick up some yard signs and do more work, and I know my wife kind of said, just enjoy the day, enjoy. But that's not, I generally don't operate. I don't like to kind of sit back and celebrate and look. I don't like to look in the rearview mirror. I kind of generally am looking forward, looking ahead and going, okay, what are the next steps now, and where do we go from here? So I think yesterday was a little bit of celebrating, but a little bit of getting some meetings on my calendar and trying to figure out the logistics and the details.
So why did you choose to get involved by serving on the park board?
Specifically, wanted to get into public service. I mean, that's been on my radar for a long time and always been involved in the community. Ended up working at United Way for a couple of years, was involved with the Chamber of Commerce and other groups. So now I kind of felt like it's kind of to the next level, like a big boy step, if you want to call it that, to the next level. And so you kind of look at your different areas of how to get involved. So you have, school board, city commission, you have your state reps. And for me, I looked at the park board. I actually worked at the park district when I was in high school and college. So that was my very first job. I was 15. I had to have my parents sign a work permit. And then I rode my bike to Lindenwood Park every day in the summer and got to play baseball with kids. And I did that all the way through college. And then I got into officiating basketball and even into the brewing industry. It's very similar, I think, with the park district of sort of the hospitality. I think about the parks, recreation, you're designing and creating spaces and opportunities for people to have fun, right? Recreate. So I think it was a really natural fit for me to kind of go towards the park district.
What would you say is the biggest or some of the biggest projects or issues before the park board at this point?
Well, I think there's two major projects going on. So we have Island Park, of course, and then the sports complex in South Fargo. So I think those are going to be two very big projects. And I think that's been kind of a thing I've been talking about throughout the campaign is especially with the sports complex, it's great that we're building it in South Fargo, but also if the headquarters move out of the depot downtown and everything moves south, what are we going to do in kind of these core neighborhoods or some of these North Fargo neighborhoods? So I think you have to manage the growth. You have to grow. There's new neighborhoods, new parks that need to go in, but we need to make sure that we don't just sort of abandon or neglect sort of the existing areas. So I think that's going to be a big challenge is trying to repurpose, reuse some of these existing spaces and make sure that we are, paying attention to the residents who live in these core downtown and North Fargo neighborhoods. I think that's going to be a really, really big challenge.
I'd like to thank newly elected Fargo Park Board member Aaron Hill for joining me for tonight's one-on-one conversation. Hill will serve a 4-year term. And current projects for the board include a $16 million reconstruction of the Island Park pool, a possible outdoor stage for the Fargo Moorhead Community Theater in Island Park, and the $77 million Fargo Sports Complex. Well, that will do it for this Friday night, June 17th, 2022. I'm Tom Tucker. Thanks for watching the Nightly Review, and have a great weekend.